Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley just spoke on the Senate floor. Hawley is the leading senator in the objections to the election results.
And so this is the appropriate place for these concerns to be raised, which is why I have raised them here today. And I hope that this body will not miss the opportunity to take affirmative action to address the concerns of so many millions of Americans.
And KMBC9's political reporter Michael Mahoney joins us live now. And Michael, Josh Hawley spoke primarily about Pennsylvania having a problem with the procedure there. What a night.
Yeah, what a night, what a day. In fact, Laura, just moments ago, less than 30 seconds ago, the first of the challenges was brought up for a roll call in the United States Senate, and Josh Hawley has expected voted to support that objection, and that objection is going down to defeat, but he did vote in support of it. Missouri Senator Roy Blunt did not. We were waiting on the roll call to get to Roger Marshall and Jerry Moran from Kansas. But Josh Hawley, as you've indicated, was the very first United States Senator to come out and join a number of House Republicans in raising a formal objection to accepting the certification of Joe Biden's Electoral College victory. And that's what this was all about today when it started at noon Central Time here in Kansas City. And then it was interrupted by the chaos and the takeover of the U.S. Capitol in something that people have just not seen since literally the British invaded Washington in the early part of the 19th century, even at the height, Laura, of the Vietnam War, when there were hundreds of thousands of people protesting in Washington, and some of them very aggressive, very violent protests. There was never an assault on the Capitol like the one that was seen today. This is a day that will go down in history, and some folks are blaming Josh Hawley and other objectors, and in particular President Trump, for instigating the problems, because they encouraged them to come and encouraged them to make a show at the Capitol. Laura? You
say that we haven't seen this in our lifetime, and it makes me think of Kansas Senator Roger Marshall, newly elected, taking over for Pat Roberts, who spent decades and decades in Washington. And he too stood up tonight and was still in objection of certifying President-elect Joe Biden.
Yeah, and in fact, we saw a preview of his speech just the other day when I talked to him about this. As you know, Laura, he is a medical doctor, OBGYN, and he compared the situation with the Electoral College and the irregularities and allegations that have not been proven, but the ones that have certainly been spoken about a lot. And he said that it was a lot like trying to treat a very, very sick patient that he would have, and that you had to assess the situation, you had to look for the symptoms, and then you had to diagnose and treat the problems. And one of the things that Roger Marshall said today was that there ought to be an electoral review commission to look at the irregularities that some people claim in this. Here's part of his remarks during that Senate debate earlier this evening.
The violence and mob rule which occurred at the U.S. Capitol today and across the country over the past year are unacceptable, and I condemn them at the highest level. And like all of us in the chamber, I'm thankful for the heroic law enforcement officers who worked feverishly to restore order so that we get back to the electoral certification process.
And that is what he is advocating. It will not happen. It certainly won't happen between now and 2 weeks from now when Joe Biden is inaugurated president. There is this call for some sort of electoral review of the 2020 elections. It's not going anywhere in these sessions and debates tonight. And will now, with a Democratic Senate apparently, as well as a Democratic House, Laura, it probably won't go anywhere in the 117th Congress.